Sweet.
So we're back. We're here for Different Kind of Genius again. And, you know, it's always someone special, especially when we're doing this. But this dude's real special. He's almost like an omen in my life, and I'm just like, shit. The fact that he's here now, come all the way from the 3350, he's representing us all.
Fucking A, man.
And today with me, it's Cax One.
What up?
Cax, say what's up.
Man, fucking good to be here.
Thank you for coming,
this
bro.
This setup is so official. It's dope.
Wait, it's come a long way. Like our first episode, we didn't have lights. Like it was like the sun came down. It was just
man. Oh fuck.
It was a learning process. It was a learning process.
This is dope, man. This is dope.
No, but, bro, couldn't thank you anymore for coming too, man. Like,
word, man.
I understand you're a busy dude. We're all busy people, and like the fact that you made the effort, like, fuck, that definitely means something to me.
Oh man, I appreciate it. I appreciate the invite.
Yeah, least we could do.
That's cool.
And also, his sticker in the background, shit's fire. I know you can see that in the background. It's like, if you need some, Cax One, get at him.
Fuck yeah.
No. Well,
word,
shit, we'll start us off.
Yeah.
So, Cax One, what does a man like you do?
Fuck. Anything that fucking pays money, eh?
Anything that pays
that
money?
sounds really sus.
No, but it's the truth.
Anything? Like, nah. Well, I would consider myself an artist first. Actually, no, a graffiti writer first. Yeah. Artist, graphic designer, illustrator. Today I was labouring, so, like, I'll stack bricks if you need, like.
With your dad?
Yeah.
True?
Literally.
Shout out, Rod.
Which is literally what made me late this afternoon, so, yeah, shout out to him.
Man, did you tell him you were coming here?
Yeah.
What did he say?
He was like, "Oh, okay." Like, well, I was like literally in a rush. I'm like, "I got to get going." Like, but he's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, cool." Like, yeah,
fuck.
Yeah, man, that's so funny.
Man, that's a few titles.
Yeah,
that is actually a few titles, and that's more than enough titles to pay those bills. So it's like you can constantly dabble back and forth.
I don't want to get too ahead of myself because I'm not making millions of dollars yet, but
one day, you got to speak it into existence.
Exactly,
not yet.
Exactly. Yeah.
So what is what does that even look like? So you said you're a graffiti writer. Like, how does that come into one of your titles? Like,
well, that was literally just me following my heart. So I was just like, shit, this shit's fun. I'm going to keep doing it. It got me into a lot of trouble, and then now it makes me money, so that's good.
But like, break it down, because I'm sure people who do that same stuff, they don't even know that there's a money element in that. How did you even...
No, well, it's a weird thing. Like, it's the way that the world's evolving so quickly at the moment. It's like, I'd never looked at it as potentially making money. It was just like, that was what I was into. And eventually, like, because of the internet and the word getting out of what I did, people started to like ask me to come and do stuff, and it's like businesses start hitting you up, and
what do those businesses like hit you up to do though?
Literally murals, like just come in. We've got a blank wall, spray paint it, and they don't generally give me too much of a brief. It's like they'll give me like a rough idea of what they want or whatever, and then it's like, I'm lucky because I come from a graphic design background as well. Yeah.
So you're able to like communicate it on a piece of white paper so that the business is able to understand
exactly. So it's like, I'll sketch it up and shoot it off to them, and generally it goes through first time. Like, I don't get knocked back from many jobs. It's like,
man, none of that. Your work speaks for itself.
Thanks, man.
Like when we were at Premixing back in the day, every blank wall or every blank like bit of shipping container that we had, a Cax piece.
Fuck yeah, man.
And I remember even looking at it, like when I first started, I'm looking at it and I'm like, why is that so familiar? And then I see your little tag at the bottom and I was just like, it's fucking Cax. I was just like, but that's so sick.
Yeah.
Like, because people don't even know that that's an avenue.
No. Well, that's the thing. It's like, it's kind of a bit cliche, but like if you follow whatever you're into and you work hard at it, you'll eventually, like, something will come of it. That's what I believe anyway. It's been an experience, so which is, But that's a real somber thought. We're sitting here like joking around and I'm just like, get real deep for a second.
No, but then there's nothing wrong with it. But then like what's so important is that's your truth.
Yeah.
And you've known that for a long time.
Yeah.
Like
if I'm totally honest,
Yeah.
I didn't actually know it. I just did it. I really could give a shit about the consequences.
True.
It was like, yeah, I could have been like, you know, broke or whatever and just like not going anywhere and not really pursuing my passion. But I wasn't thinking it like that. I was literally thinking, this is fun. I'm just going to do it. And then it worked out that it was going to start making money down the track. But yeah, I really didn't see that happening. They kind of caught me off guard a little bit. So yeah, but I'm not complaining.
Oh, no, mate, why would you? Why would you? And then it's funny how that works, though. How it's you went from not caring at all, but I think those are the people that get paid.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like the ones that you will commit your all to something, regardless of whether or not someone's actually going to give you a paycheck.
Look, I don't want to. At the same time, I don't want to give the impression that I'm like making millions of dollars or anything because I'm really not. I'm doing all right, but there's still definitely a long way to go.
There is.
And like if I worked a regular like quote
9 to
unquote
5.
career or whatever, like I'd probably make more money, but at the end of the day, I'm doing what I love. So, and it's literally just starting to occur to me like really recently that I've put this much into it that I don't know, it's sort of giving me a second wind in a little sort of way that like I'm more motivated to do it now more than ever because every time I get even close to like a regular job and I'm just like, nah, I want to do this art thing like flat out. So yeah, like I would take a 9 to 5 now, but I would know it wouldn't be the end game.
Yeah.
Like a 9 to 5 now would be, for starters, it'd have to be part-time because I've got too much other stuff going on.
Yeah.
But that would literally be because I'm working towards a goal of like being completely independent and being like financially secure and stuff. So,
Bro, and that's one of the biggest goals of mine.
Yeah.
Like I've seen so many people around me that have just experienced like you almost like 9 to 5 is great, but then you get trapped, like you get stuck.
Yeah, for
you
sure.
take on a big debt,
Yeah.
and that big debt will scare you, so you can't stray away from your 9 to 5.
Exactly.
But I want to like, as you said, I want to set myself up that way.
Yeah.
However I do it, like,
Yeah.
but it'd be sick.
Yeah. No, for sure. I don't know. I would almost encourage people to like never to take like on a big debt or anything. Like, I don't know. If there's one thing that scares me, like I don't own like any like large assets like a house or anything, but there's one thing that scares me. It's like buying a house and then like being trapped, having to do something you don't like for the next 10 years to get to pay that house off. Like, yeah, when I finally settle down and buy a house, I want to have that paid off so quick because I don't want to be like, I don't like not having that freedom. Yeah.
Man, like, I know exactly what you mean because I like got myself in that situation, but then I got myself out of that situation.
Yeah.
And then I didn't realize, but because I got myself in that situation, it forced me to do other things.
Yeah.
So like it forced me to go into more of a role of responsibility through my work and and like everyone around you tells you that this is what you're supposed to do, this is what you're supposed to do. But I ran those numbers.
Yeah.
I was fucking never paying that thing off. I was like, it doesn't matter if you're earning like 80K a year. Like over 30 years I'm going to pay back a mortgage with interest. Like it's just not happening.
Nah.
Like I'd rather somehow collect an abundance and just settle for something smaller.
Yeah.
So every time that I log into my internet banking, I don't see minus $300,000.
Yeah.
Like, that shit is the biggest demotivator for like so many things in life.
Yeah.
And but then, as you said, that feeling of like in my head, I was doing everything that people were trying to tell me to do.
Yep.
And I didn't realize that this was not actually what I wanted to do.
Yep.
But I just found myself in the loop that society tells me is right. And I was like, I just stepped back for a second. I was like, no, none of this is for me.
Yeah.
I want to do something else. I want to be a lot more comfortable. Like if I wanted to jump on a plane and disappear for a little bit, like you can't do that with a mortgage.
No, shit, no. Yeah. I've seen this girl at the moment and she's like big into traveling. Like I've never really traveled much. But like the older I get, the more I want to travel. And having that freedom is so important, man.
Well, no, it keeps you youthful.
Exactly.
Like as soon as I saw you today, I was like, you like, you haven't changed that much, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow. And then after you told me how old you were again, I was just like, no, you're not. I was like, no, you're not. I was like, you're just a couple years older than me. I was like,
oh man,
like in my head, you were always just a couple years older than me.
word. Yeah.
Like it was just, but it was everything about you. It was your personality, the way you dressed, the music you like.
Yeah.
To me, you were so relatable.
Yeah.
And like, fuck, in Ballarat, man, you were really only like one of the few that I actually could relate to.
Oh, word, man.
It was like, it was really, really weird. Like, and I found that out through my journey, and I was just like, well, fuck.
Yeah.
I met that dude real early.
Yeah.
It's just like,
facts, man. Man. Such a weird time to think back on it. Like when we used to live like next door to each other. Yeah.
like, fuck, and then so much has happened as well.
Oh,
like,
man.
And then, but then, you know what's really funny? There's so, like, out of many people that, like, know who I am, you're probably one of the only ones that really know. Because you got to see it. You got to see it.
Yeah.
Like, you saw all of that go to shit.
Yeah.
Like, man, I couldn't even imagine what it would have been like for you living on that side of the fence and you just being like, what the actual fuck is going on over there?
Yeah.
Like,
But so,
like, oh, well, like, my dad was a cunt. Like, what could I do about it? Like, he made mistakes. We had to pay for those mistakes.
Yeah.
But here we are now. Like,
do you talk much about that sort of stuff? Like,
to be honest,
on like this sort of platform and stuff, or you sort of keep it low, or
you know the truth?
Yeah.
I really don't think I talk about it at all.
Really?
Like, that's why, like, there are things that you would have seen that people wouldn't even know.
Yeah.
Like, fuck, for example, like when the house got repoed.
Yep.
Like for you, that would have been the weird. You just like, you're walking past, all of a sudden you see all this shit in the window. You'd be like,
yeah,
what the hell's going on?
Yeah, yeah.
And like, it'd make no sense until I rock up 6 months later and I'm like, yeah, man, dad fucked off.
Yeah.
Took all his money, like, and he just fucked off.
Yeah.
So like, no one's been paying this. Mum's been left with the whole burden. Like,
yeah.
And they're like, fuck. Yeah, like, no, I don't talk, like, I don't know. It's really weird. I sort of, you, like, that same day.
Yeah.
And we're talking about this before off camera, but how you walked with me to the end of the court and how I told you that that day was the day my life went to shit.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. And it was weird because you knew as well.
Yeah.
Like, you just, like, you were looking at me and you're like, you'll be right. And I was just like, fuck, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But, shit, here we are now, many years later.
Yeah. Man, it's funny too to think, like, because at the time, like, I was like, I don't think I realised the gravity of what was going on either.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, just like, you know, trying to be a mate and just like, you know, do the right thing, I guess. You know what I mean? But then it's like, as like more of it comes out and stuff, just like, fuck. Man.
Yeah, you're like, something's really going on.
Yeah, word. Yeah.
And then, like, I don't know why.
What year was that? Do you remember?
Yeah. 2013.
Word.
Oh, nah. Fuck no. Nah. Like, 2011.
Yeah, yeah.
2011.
Yeah.
Early 2011 or
Word.
end of year 2010.
Yeah.
And, like, shit, now that I think about it, I probably should have been much more vocal with the people around me because I would have probably got a lot more help.
Yep. Yep.
But I don't know. I just
you don't understand that at the time, though.
No.
Like, yeah, for
and then
sure.
for that time, how old was I? Year 10, year 11. So what, like fucking 16, 17.
Yeah, yeah.
And like, I just hadn't, like, I had an idea, but I didn't know what I could do.
Yeah.
I literally had no idea what I could do. Like, you're just being told what to do by like fucking everyone. Like court orders and shit.
Yeah.
Like you're being pulled into a room with your little brothers and like, who do you want to live with? You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, yeah.
And then like you didn't realize that you got prepped by like, and like you just, fuck, the whole grooming process just went on for ages and you had no idea.
Yeah.
Like you're a kid, like,
yeah.
Like, I had no idea. I didn't like, but then like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It was really, really, really weird. But
yeah.
And to be honest, none of that's even solved. Like, mum still has issues with all of that shit.
Yeah.
Like, the whole money side of things, like, that's... Now it's a bit different because now they're trying to chase him for it, but they're not going to fucking... like, that man, like, that man's in a country, it's like, go and get it.
Yeah.
Like, go and get it.
Fuck, man.
Like, 2011, he fucked off and it was just nothing.
Yeah.
Got nothing.
Yeah.
Like, no happy birthdays, none of that shit.
Yeah.
Did you ever meet my littlest brother?
Yeah. Oh, meet him is a one way to describe it. It was just like, I knew who he was. I saw him around, you know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
no, I reckon
but he was so little, man.
No,
like,
I reckon you'd be talking about Mark at this point. I'm talking about the baby.
Oh, word?
Yeah, so Gil doesn't even know who he is.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's fucked. And then, like, that boy's had some real issues because, like, his stepdad's white.
Yeah.
So imagine, like, he looks up at his parents and he's just like, the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
He's just like, this isn't, like, you're not, I know you're not my dad, but, like, why am I? Why are they? But why are you?
Yeah.
Like, and, like, he did struggle with it. And it was hard because, like, mum was like, can you step in and, like, help him out with it? I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like, I didn't even know how to get myself through those situations. Like, all I can do is tell him everything that I didn't do.
Yeah.
And I was like, reality is your life's going to be hard because you're black.
Yeah.
Good fucking luck.
Yeah.
And mum's like, nah, there's more than that. I'm like, nah, mum, like, something you don't understand either. Like,
wow.
In the world we live in, it's like, good luck.
Yeah, man.
But shit, he'll be going, like, he'll go there. He'll be all right.
Yeah. So how old's he now?
He's 10.
Wow.
But he's going to be a sick little footballer. When I say football, soccer.
Oh, word.
So, like, his stepdad's from the UK and, like, played at a pretty professional level.
Yeah.
But they're both left-footed.
Oh, word.
Yeah, and, like, to be a left-footer in soccer, it's like, that's where
it really
the money
messes with everyone else. Because
everyone just defaultly goes right.
Yeah.
And so, and then, like, he's just taking him under his wing.
Yeah.
But it's sick. But then you know what else is fucked up?
What?
It's like, you look at their relationship and you're like, fuck, he's going to do so much better because we didn't have any of that.
Yeah.
And, like, that's just that extra guidance.
Yeah.
Like, just to make sure that he's always on the right path. Like, he's got that. But then it's sick too. Because then it's like, it's too late for me, too late for Jack.
Yeah.
But at least for, like, those two, they'll be all right.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
So it's like, I don't know, when you look at that shit, you're just like, sick.
Yeah.
Sick. They're not doing they're not like, they don't live in like a big fuck off mansion and stuff that we all lived in. But like all that was just such a show.
Yeah.
Like none of it was real.
Yeah.
It was like
something about that area, man. Like, no disrespect to Alfredton, but like, it's really, it's almost cliche the way it's like everyone with their like mowed lawns and like nice front yards and stuff. And it's like, man, what's going on inside that house is completely different. I hated it when I moved up there. Like, granted, when we moved up there, I was like, I must have been about 13, 14. And I hated it. Like, we'd moved around a lot when we were kids. And old man being a builder was just like, you know, constantly like renovating places and stuff and, you know, flipping them and selling them, which was good because like he started off in like, you know, a not great financial position growing up, but he really built himself up into something. Yeah. And then like the recession hit and we managed to survive the recession because of all the hard work he put in like the decade before. But living in like the centre of Ballarat, he kind of looked at it as like, you know, we were like growing up poor again because, you know, the recession had hit, he'd sold one house, we'd moved into the investment property and it was like 3-bedroom place and there's 6 of us in there. Yeah. So it was like tiny little house and it's like everyone's crammed in and all that sort of stuff. But man, that house, it's like my favourite place of all the joints we lived at because it was just so central and you were in amongst everything and around all people and stuff. Yeah. And like I had like heaps of friends around and all that sort of thing. And it was like, got to experience like culture, I suppose you'd call it. Like,
it's like, it's not a culture, but it's still a culture.
Yeah, that's it.
Community.
Community, that's the word I'm looking for. Yeah.
Community.
And I never had like community like in all the other places that we sort of grew up in. I kind of felt like I was always like, I didn't fit in. But by the time I was there, it's like, you know, getting into high school, making new friends, all that sort of thing. And I finally met people I could relate to. And yeah, it was literally a sense of community. And then we moved up to Alfredton and it was just like, bang, that was just all cut off. And I hated it.
It was
like,
so remote.
Passionately. Oh, man.
It was
it's like, it's an idyllic paradise if you're a parent because you're close to your schools and, you know, you've got big backyards and all that sort of thing. And people think that that's what creates a good environment. But I think for kids, that's one of the worst places you could put them.
Because what happened to us?
Exactly.
We got fucking bored.
Oh, man.
And, man, there's nothing worse than a bored kid. Like, you're up to trouble.
Yeah. And, like,
You're
even, like, as a place to...
give me 2 seconds. Keep talking.
No drama.
This is fucking... I can see it glaring a bit. So.
Word. Yeah. But, yeah, it's, like, the kind of place that is... it's a boring place to be... Even if you think of it in the sense of just a kid like walking around the streets and stuff, walking around like a suburban area is boring as shit. Like Alfredton's just flat. There is nothing going on up there except rows upon rows of houses.
Being built. Like, for us, it was all early, so it was like all mud and sticks and shit. So there was nothing to look at.
It was, yeah. It was literally like vacant, like brown paddocks and like houses going up everywhere. It was boring as shit.
And it was low-key depressing.
Oh, man. I hated it.
And then I remember you used to hate it, like...
Oh, word.
Just the things you would see, the things you would hear. It's just like, you walk around, I'm like, fuck, why are you so pissed off? I'm like on the front of my skateboard, just like doing absolutely nothing. And you're like, this is fucking shit. And I'm just like...
For sure, man. It was just, so dull. Whereas living in, like, the centre of Ballarat, so we lived, like, literally, like... 3 blocks from right in the centre of town. And there was like drains you could go down and like buildings you could climb up. And like, I mean, I know that shit's not like safe.
Yeah.
But man, it was like it was an environment to like explore. It was so fascinating. And yeah. But especially being into graffiti too. Like.
That's what I was going to say. Like that would have helped. That would have been like your building blocks.
Yeah.
So is that like, so was it then? Is that where it all sort of started?
Yeah.
Like take us back to the start. Like how did you know that you were a graffiti writer?
Man, I was just into hip hop, like in the very like cliche 4 elements sort of like.
What are those 4 elements for those that don't know?
Oh man, graffiti, break dancing, rapping and DJing. It's like, it's the, you know, the quote unquote like 4 elements of hip hop. And then people argue that there's like, you know, you look at the KRS-One version where you're looking at like street entrepreneurialism and fashion and all that sort of stuff. Like, to me, it's all one and the same, and I don't disregard or like hold the 4 as like the key thing or whatever. But for me, I saw this documentary. I cannot remember the name of it. It's like a documentary on like Australian hip hop culture.
Yeah.
And it was all based around Sydney. Okay. And it was literally like in those 4 sort of, God bless it. I think it was SBS.
Yeah.
I mean, God bless that channel.
It was just like, that told the truth.
Man, it was just like, there was this culture and I was like into like, you know, gangster rap and all that sort of stuff. But I literally didn't know anyone else that was into it. And I saw that documentary and I was just like, what the hell is this? And it was like, man, it just changed my world. I was like, literally, like the next week, I was trying to break dance, I was trying to rap. I wanted to get like a record player to try and scratch on, and I was like scribbling tags everywhere. It's like, that was it. The light switch just went off. I was like, yeah, I'm onto this. I just didn't let it go.
It was all been through like, when you have that love for hip hop, you really try and find it. You're like, can I rap?
Yeah.
Like,
oh man, I was terrible, like the worst. But man, it didn't stop me from trying to spit bars.
Or did you give yourself a rap name?
No.
Or you just saying no for the camera?
No, I'm dead set. I never gave myself a rap name. I was like, I had mad different tags and like, I guess you'd call that like that was my name.
Yeah.
My first tag, Mr. Toad, was terrible.
Mr. Toad. Mr. Toad.
It was terrible. Like even looking at those letters now, they just do not flow.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, Jesus.
The T and the O, like the O can like sit under the T. It would be kind of cool, but it was garbage. Yeah.
So what did Mr. Toad transform into?
Fuck. Mr. Toad. What was my next tag? Oh, fumar, F-U-M-A-R, which was the Spanish word for smoke from Cypress Hills. You want to get high, which in Spanish was yo quiero fumar. I don't know if I'm translating that right.
Yeah.
That's a whole other story. But man, I got mad into Cypress Hill and I thought getting stoned was the coolest shit ever. And fumar was like the coolest word ever. And so I wrote that for a while and then I ditched that.
I remember fumar on some shit. Bakery Hill Mackies. I remember looking at that and I'm like, what the fuck is that?
Man, it was a terrible tag too. And then inst was the next one I chose, and that was the one that sort of stuck for ages.
Wait, and so that was ink?
Yeah. So ink was the crew, inst is the word. Yeah, it was short for instigator.
Instigator.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is fuck because I'm not really an instigator of shit, but
no, but then,
it was literally just they were just dope letters, man. Like they flowed real nice together. So
and they look real nice as well.
Oh word.
But then that's so funny because aside from Mr. Toad, which probably had a meaning to you, but fumar, like when you broke that down, that had a real meaning to you.
Oh,
that would have probably
sure.
shaped an early part of your that stage of your life.
For sure, yeah. I was into. This is the time when, like, before the internet and everything. So I got Cypress Hill's greatest hits in Spanish.
Yeah, in Spanish.
Yeah.
Was that just unlucky or?
No. This was very deliberate. I was into Cypress Hill, and I went to Sanity, which I think that still exists, the CD store.
I only know what that is because I used to have to go get CDs. But like kids these days, I wish Liam was here. He'd be like, "What the fuck, Sanity?"
Oh, word, man. Yeah, we went to Sanity, and there was a girl I know. Shout out to Sarah, and she let me look through the catalogue of every CD they could get. This thing was like an encyclopedia, and you just like pages and pages of like every album they could literally get. And this was not just like every album they could get, they could order this from anywhere in the world. And you think about that like before the time of the internet.
Yeah, that's powerful.
Oh man, I waited, I shit you not, 3 months for this album to arrive. And it literally came by ship, like I think via Mexico or something, like Cypress Hill's greatest hits in Spanish. My fucking pride and joy, that album. And I was literally into it because Mr. Cardoon is a tattooist.
Yeah.
Used to do all like Cypress Hill's album covers and stuff.
True.
Another massive influence on my art. Yeah. Shit. Yeah.
Was he big on caros and stuff like that?
For sure. Lots of skulls and shit.
Okay.
And it was real like, it was like the whole like Latino sort of culture. Lots of skulls and like the low-rider cars and, all the like script writing and stuff. I was mad into that stuff, like in the late 90s, early 2000s.
But man, they really helped pioneer a lot. Like with Immortal Technique. Like that's probably where I got my first understanding of like graffiti writing.
Yeah.
And how they were doing that just to like, for a message.
Yeah.
Like they lived in big building blocks.
Yeah.
And the fucking landlord would turn the water off. Yeah. And then they'd literally write, turn the water on.
Yeah.
And it was just like that put the battery in so many kids' backs.
Yeah. Word. Man, graffiti culture was huge. Like, yeah, man, that's crazy. And it's like, it's weird looking at like how different cultures adopted it.
Yeah.
So, well, yeah, like talking about like the Spanish sort of stuff, the Mexican sort of like culture and all that sort of stuff, and they were like marking up like gang territory and that sort of stuff. Like I've never been to LA, but seeing that medium through other cultures, like so via Cypress Hill in this case, it was like literally affecting somebody on the other side of the planet in a huge way. And I was so impressionable, as a teenager, like seeing that and just like, man, I'm into this for sure. Like, yeah.
Then like they it was like, because I missed a bit of Cypress Hill because that was a shit Dad had listened to.
Yeah.
And it was sort of like,
made you feel old.
No,
for sure.
No, but then, we had, like I remember you used to come over and used to borrow some of the CDs because you'd be like, you've seen us, you're like, how the fuck do you have this? I'm like, I took it from Dad. You're like, can I borrow it? I'm like, of course.
Yeah.
But then that's probably what led me into like the path of Immortal Technique. Like, I think it was because, when your dad listened to it, you're like, no, I want to find my own shit.
Yeah.
So it was just, but it's nuts how it really shaped part of our lives. And I truly believe that music like really is Like it influences you. Anybody
Yeah.
that says music's not an influence, it's just a lie. And
Oh,
they haven't.
for
They
sure.
just don't have that love and passion
Yeah.
for music.
Yeah.
Because if you truly love it, like,
Yeah.
and I think that's what fucked me up and got me on my bullshit was because I was listening to that.
Yeah.
Like my favorite
The
artist was
same.
50 Cent, and I was
Yeah.
just like, "Fuck!" I was like, "That is the worst, like
Oh, yeah.
worst human being to learn life from."
Role model, yeah.
Oh.
Which is weird. Like I was thinking about this the other day. Like hip hop, if you're like a white kid growing up in Australia, is like, you know, for me it was like listening to some like real hardcore sort of shit, and like it was aggressive, and you know it matches that teen sort of rebellious kind of spirit.
Yeah.
Which I suppose like is the way like other forms like punk and that
Yeah,
sort of
like
thing. It's
Nirvana, like
yeah,
the-
yeah.
the-
Fuck you music. I love it. You know what I mean? Like I listen to like some of the shit that I used to listen to now, and it's like I don't relate to this at all. But at that time, it was just like that was everything to me.
Everything.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's so influential, and you're so like, yeah,
When you're so impressionable,
yeah,
and then like not only that, with how you grew up and how I grew up, we didn't have many role models.
no.
So for us, we had to find our role models through other stuff,
Yeah.
and it was just. I'm so thankful that it was hip hop, but at the same time, like, I wonder how much easier my life would have been. Like,
So this is a weird thing. Like I was thinking this the other day. Did you ever get into like playing footy or anything like that?
you know what's really fucked up? Played football and basketball.
Yeah,
I was actually talking to Jack about this.
yeah,
We didn't want to play it.
yeah,
We were just told to play it because we were bigger than everyone else.
yeah.
And
yeah.
like fucking like not
Yeah.
to toot my own
all
horn.
the coaches and that would be
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, these kids would be like fantastic.
Well,
for
you
us.
get poached off
When-
the street.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
You literally
yeah.
get poached off the street.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
was just like we were all right.
Yeah,
Like we were all right. Like
Yeah.
there aren't many tall people that are sort of coordinated. And
Yeah.
at the time, like
Yeah.
we were.
yeah,
But like it was just forced down our throats. And I think
Yeah.
because it was forced down our throats, that's what caused us to go the other way.
yeah. Word.
And
Yeah.
like we made like pretty significant levels in sport, but it was just like neither of us wanted to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And Jack saw what happened to me like when I went that route, and as soon as I got injured,
Yeah,
and then like all the attention went from me to him,
yeah,
and he was like, "Whoa." I saw how quick you just dumped him.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
all
yeah.
it takes is one injury, and then that's game over for me.
yeah,
And then like, but then I know where you're going with this. We were still outcasts in that whole community, in that
Yeah.
whole environment. Like
yeah,
we'd go there. Like we've actually spoken about this on prior episodes, but
Yeah.
like out of basketball and football,
Yeah.
I said football was probably the sport I enjoyed playing the most.
Yeah.
But the culture fucking sucked.
yeah. Word.
Like there were none of the boys in my team. Like they were all the homies too, but
Yeah.
like they weren't doing what I was doing.
Yeah.
They
yeah.
weren't like I had headphones in my ears before the game because I had a boombox, and I was just
Yeah.
like, fuck, I didn't even know that music could be
Yeah.
played out of those boomboxes. I was just
Yeah.
like, what is this?
Oh, word. Yeah, no, I totally get that. I didn't play football at all. And that was partially to do with my parents' religion was Seventh-day Adventist. So they
They were
didn't...
what, sorry?
Seventh-day Adventist.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Well, I don't
man.
even know what that is.
Man, it's like a weird, like, I shouldn't say weird, but it's like, it's one of those kind of fringe religions that like not heaps of people are in. But, you know, Weet-Bix, right?
Yeah.
So the Seventh-day Adventist Church owns Sanitarium, the manufacturers of Weet-Bix. There you go.
Fucked. That's fucked. But then, you know, as you say that, it makes sense because when you go to your house, there'd always be a lot of like religiously sort of shit.
Oh, yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
well, Cax is into art. Like,
Yeah.
fuck. So his parents probably, I'm like,
Yeah,
it's some art shit. Like, I was just like,
No word. Yeah. Like by the time I started to get older, like a teenager and stuff, they sort of like slowed down a bit on it. But they were real hardcore on it when we were young. I think the idea was to A, give you a sense of community, and B, like put you on the right path, which is like noble things to want as a parent, but I don't know if that was necessarily the right environment to do that.
Yeah.
Like because it created a culture of exclusivity where I didn't know anyone outside of the religion, like for the first, 12 years of my life or whatever.
that would have been heavy.
Yeah, yeah. So like going to high school after that was like, man, there's a whole world out there that I did not know existed. You know what I mean? Like you'd heard about it. Like,
And you went to Barrett High, didn't you?
yeah, yeah.
Fuck, that would have been the
Man,
biggest
it
shock.
was crazy. It was like I think there was 40 kids in our primary school. Like when I was there, And then to go to that to like, you know, a couple of thousand was just like culture shock crazy. Yeah. By the time like my youngest sister sort of came up, they'd seen like me and my two other sisters go through it, and they were like, all right, we're going to like try and like, they sent her to Alfredton Primary beforehand. So like a lot of the people that went to Alfredton, she'd meet them, you know, in high school sort of thing. So it was like a step in between.
But it helps too, because then it's like all of a sudden you're not rocking up to high school and where everything's new and you're just like, who the fuck am I?
Yeah.
And I've got no people that I can relate to at all. You're just like, who am I?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, you know, obviously like you're going through puberty and like maturing and all that sort of stuff, and it's like all that sort of chaos all at once. It's a bit much.
That really would have been.
Yeah.
Oh, but then we strayed right away from it.
Yeah.
So that was
the point we're actually getting to.
Yeah. So that
the
was
sense of community. Yeah.
No, but like, like I didn't even think of like sense of community, like just how, like inst.
Yeah.
What's that?
Man, I guess that's getting back to the thing of community. That was like, I met up with some other dudes and I was like, I was hardcore into the graffiti thing by now.
Yeah. Because now this is your third tag, so you
figured
it out.
It's like, I'm really starting to like suss it out now. And so I like got into that with another mate, and this is when we decided, all right, we're forming a crew and we're getting real serious about this. And like Ballarat was like
yours.
Yeah. And
yours.
I wasn't ready for like what, like by this time I'd lived in Melbourne for a couple of years. You know, I'd really got hardcore into graffiti culture, and Ballarat was just not ready. So we went hardcore.
Man, you know, like, and the funny thing was I always knew. Yeah. And it was like, and like my dad knew.
Yeah.
So like everywhere we'd be ripping around, he'd be like, Cax. And he's like, he obviously didn't call you Cax, but he'd just like, we'd be looking at things and I'd be like, how the fuck did he get up there?
Oh, word.
And like, Dad would just be like, oh, I'll never forget. There was like one day, I was just watching you paint, and he was like, pulls me aside, he's like, if I ever catch you doing that shit, you're fucked. And I was just like, But it just killed all my creativity because it was just like, I was like, there's no way I could get away with it, not with how much he knows.
Man, that's so funny. Yeah. My parents, I don't know whether they knew or not. Like by the time I'd got like really hardcore into it, I was trying to do it like for fun in the backyard and stuff as well.
Yeah.
So I don't think they realised the magnitude of which it had taken over my life. And the other thing is like, you're trying to like, you're keeping it like low key because you're doing it illegally.
Yeah.
So it comes with the territory that you keep it quiet from everyone, including your family.
Yeah.
And it's like this secret world where, you know, me and a few mates would get together and just go fucking hard. And like, you know, then we'd like sneak back home and like, you know, act like nothing had happened. And it was just like, man, it was just hardcore. Yeah.
Jesus. And like, it's hard because it's like, but I understand why you did that. Like, especially for you, like, as you said, you went the first 12 years of your life only knowing 40 people.
Yeah.
I mean, you get to high school, that would have been the most overwhelming place.
Oh, for sure.
So it's like you would have had to have found your little niche group.
Yeah.
Maybe at school, maybe outside of school, but it's a forming of both.
Yeah.
And where you're like, I finally found the people that I want to hang out with.
Yeah.
And that was what brought you guys together.
Yeah.
Like some people can bond through football, that'll take you the whole way. Some people can bond through basketball. But for you, it was graph.
Yeah, it literally was. That was my sense of community. Just weird, like thinking back on that transition, like you were saying, like from, you know, going from the school of 40 people to a few thousand, it was like I remember those like first 4 years of high school, like literally hanging out with this person and then realising that like just because we had common interests, that wasn't enough, like to build like a community. So like the first dudes I started hanging out with were all smoking weed. And I was mad into listening to Cypress Hill, never really smoked weed, grew up super religious. They were like, man, try this. I was like, oh, sweet, you know what I mean? Like, this is cool. And then realising through that these dudes didn't have my best interests at heart.
No.
It was like, they knew that I was fresh and like didn't know like shit all about like drugs and stuff. So their whole thing was just get me mad stoned and try and get me to green out. You know what I mean? Like I was
which is
become like the butt of a joke for
that's
them.
like that's
you
a
know
fun friendship group to have.
And it was like as soon as I realised that, I was just like, man, these dudes suck. Like, I don't want to be around this. So, you know, from that I started hanging out with another mate, and then we were into like he was into like doing burglaries and shit, and I was like, man, this is like mad fun. Like, you know what I mean? Breaking into places. Yeah, exactly. So got into that, and then like then we got caught. So we actually broke into Ballarat High. Got caught in the school. Like we had no idea about like alarms and like silent alarms and how all that shit works. So
you learned the hard way.
Yeah. Literally, we were in there. Like we were in there for like all of 5 minutes, not even. I don't reckon. And I just happened to glance out the window and saw like someone running past outside. I was just like, shit, that's a bit weird. And I turn around and look for my mate, and I'm just like, man, I think we need to get out of here. And then literally like the next second it was just like, police, get down on the ground. This is back in the days before like they had tasers and pepper spray and shit. So they just come in with the guns out. Like, you remember the old like revolvers?
Yeah.
And then, I'm just like in the school and just like hearing like, police, get down, like real aggressive sort of yell.
Yeah.
And you know, like the torch in the fucking gun. And then like, just like looking around the corner and seeing like dudes with guns pointed at you. You know, it was like, man, this is like, I'd seen like a gun once in my life at that point. And this was with my old man, and he's like, you know, like real cautious about like gun safety and stuff. He was like,
he'd never be pointed at you.
You would never, like that was the worst thing you could do was point a gun, whether it was loaded or not, at somebody else. And to see that like pointed at me, I was just like, fuck, I I wasn't thinking rationally at the time, but I'm like, I could die here. Like, they're cops. They're not really going to shoot me. Like, it's like, but that was not like what my rational brain was not thinking. I'm just like, fuck, I could get shot. Just like drop to the ground, like, fuck. But that was like, and then after that happened, I kind of realised that this dude was only hanging out with me because he had a partner to go and do burgs with.
Yeah.
And again, it was like, that sort of shattered the sense of community again. I'm like...
Because you think he's like day one, but in reality it's just like, oh no, he's almost using you in a sense.
Exactly. Like, I mean, I was too, because I was using him for friendship, I suppose. But then when I met the Graff dudes, like, and I was lucky, like the guys that I got into Graff with, they were like real genuine people and real good people. They just happened to like this thing of like going out and painting on other people's shit. So, yeah, I was like, man, these dudes are really fucking cool people. I want to hang out with these guys as much as I can. Yeah. So, yeah.
And so, like, that whole time, were you just, like, drawing and stuff as well? Like,
yeah.
So it was like, you can't just, like, meet these boys and then just, like, you rock up in your toy.
Yeah.
So it's just like...
Don't get me wrong, I was toy for years, like mad years. Yeah. Nah, they were like... Yeah, but they were really encouraging. Okay. And I always thought that they were better than me, but they didn't treat me like that. Yeah. You know what I mean? They were just like, yeah, no, this is cool. Like, you know, always really encouraging, and like they'd still critique you, like change this, do this, you know what I mean? And
but they're like, shaping it.
Yeah, and we were literally just bouncing ideas off, and it was like a mad, like creative little clique, and it was the best fun ever. Yeah.
But it's like... But you got so lucky for that as well, because those same people, like, if your friendship group can critique you and you not get offended or upset by that, like, you've got a proper circle of people around you. Like, that's just, like, you can't buy that.
No, for
like,
sure, man.
And that's what I realised in the whole football community. Yeah. I was like, fuck.
Yeah, like, dudes are like wild assholes.
Yeah,
like,
it's like you can give it, but the minute you give it back, it's like they're all hurt all of a sudden.
Yeah,
like,
man. Yeah. Yeah, man. We used to have mad scraps with fucking footy players. I used to hate dudes that played football.
Man, it doesn't. Well, not only that, you're on complete opposite sides of the fence.
Oh, for sure.
And then the problem with Ballarat is it's such a small place. You all go to the same parties. You all hang out. You all compete for the same girls. It's like, and then for what you were doing, it was so not the niche, not the norm. Like it was just like, it just would have created that divide.
Yeah.
And the football player, that's the that was the worst thing about Ballarat, in my opinion.
Yeah.
If you didn't play sport, the fuck did you do?
Yeah, exactly.
Like like there was no group for you. Like
Yeah.
Like,
And that was like,
oh.
man, it was like football players were like put on a pedestal too. Like, still are, I think, to this day. But it was like, even adults treated them like they were like VIPs, you know what I mean? Because they played football.
Because their name was in the paper every weekend.
Yeah. Hated it.
And that was like the notoriety that people sort of, like, there was no Instagram, like, you couldn't get like 1,000 likes, blah, blah, blah. Like, if your name was in the paper for kicking X amount of goals or getting best in the field, like, people were around you and they were like, good job.
That was literally, like you were saying, like 1,000 likes. Your validation was being in the paper. But man, it's funny to think now. I made the front page of the paper one time for some shit, and like obviously my name wasn't in the paper, but I was like, you know what I mean? Amongst my circle of friends, that was the validation. You know what I mean?
I was like, holy fuck, Cax, did you see this? Like, and you're like, no. Then you run down to the little server, get your hell son. You're like, holy shit.
Oh man, but
actually, I remember that. I remember being like, wait, that was another turning point my dad did. He's like, see, fucking told you not to do this shit. And I was just like,
oh man.
I was like, oh wow.
Yeah.
No, but I guess, so, like, talk us through that. Like so obviously, like, inst happened. How did that all end for you?
Man, that was...
Just for you.
That was hectic. I'm trying to remember what year it is. It must be like 2011, 2012. So this, by this stage, like, we'd been doing this for mad years now. I was at uni at the time, and I was starting to like get a bit over graph a little bit. I was like, not get over it, but like there was no more. The thrill wasn't there that used to be there.
That's
like
okay.
It was still mad fun, like going out and getting your name up and stuff. But now I was starting to get recognition for doing like album covers and.
Oh, so it sort of changed.
Yeah, it was like, and like doing like legal walls and commission work and that sort of stuff. And it was like, I was getting more recognition for that than I was for like going out bombing all the time.
But then I think the difference there is it's because you picked that more legal route. Yeah, you could put your name on it. So people could give you that recognition.
Yeah, it was like the outside community could give me props now. I was like, maybe that's it. I'm just like a big fame whore. But
but there's something.
Let's not front.
There's something to that though, like, because you've experienced everything. I'm sure the thrill for you, like, and then in Ballarat, there's only so many walls.
Yeah,
and like you hit everything of significance. So you were just like looking around, all of a sudden you're like, fuck, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Like, where's the next place to go?
Yeah, exactly. It was like, you know, there's only so much you can do, like, as far as, like, you know, painting illegally at night and stuff. Like, you get to a certain point where you've hit all your goals and it's like, you know, what's next? And then literally I'm starting to have these thoughts and I went to uni to do graphic design. And so I'm like, sort of like, you know, I've still got one foot in the graph world. Yeah. But the other one's like, you know, trying to do graphic design and shit.
It's a hard place to be.
Yeah.
It's a real hard place to be.
And then like literally this is going on. And then I was living with my sister and my girlfriend at the time. And my sister rings me up and she's like, cops are here. And this is just like, I kind of had an inkling that something was going to go wrong. Because
that's why you're thinking like this.
Yeah, like shit was starting to make the papers and stuff. And then there's like, you know, there's talk about graffiti cleanups and how much this is costing the city and all this sort of stuff. And then the police announced this like great big task force. And I'm like, if I'm like me and another dude are like the people that are most up in Ballarat and shit, like people that weren't into graph were commenting on our graph. And I was like, man, this thing's like starting to get kind of big. And then the police announced this new task force. And they knew what they were doing. They were like announcing it like because they, you know, it's a big show. We're going to do a crackdown and all that sort of stuff.
They're announcing it because they low-key already know. So they're like, fuck yeah, we can. They're like...
I did wonder that. Yeah. But yeah, then... yeah, I just got this phone call from my sister, like, the police are here. And I'd been staying back mad late at uni, like after hours, like working on like graphic design stuff. Yeah. And it's like the raid was here and it was just like, fuck. It was like I've been arrested a few times for like I was saying, like burglaries and shit like that. And like I've been in trouble with the cops enough to know like this, what sort of happens. But this was the first time where I was in trouble with the cops and I was like, actually fucking...
They've kicked your door down at 6 a.m.
Yeah, literally. And it was like, fuck, like this is, well, 6 p.m. technically. But yeah, it was literally like, yeah, it was like this feeling of like, this is serious, you know what I mean? And in all honesty, like other charges, like the burglary charge and stuff, is probably actually more serious than graffiti. Maybe not because of the scale that we did of that, but
then I was going to say,
you know
the hype that they put on it almost.
Yeah.
Like they're like, we're out there to catch the biggest villain of Ballarat.
Yeah,
You're like,
yeah. And it's like, yeah. And I knew it was me. And it was like, yeah. Once, as soon as they announced it, I knew that I was like, I sort of had the crosshairs were on my back now. So it was like, yeah.
So what happened after you got the phone call? Did you have to go back there or did you have to hand yourself
It's
in?
the longest night of my life. It was like, so I had to go back home and they're just like literally, there's like 4 detectives in there just like going through all my shit.
Holding your sketch pads?
Oh,
holding your
for sure. And like, you know, I wasn't like hiding any of this shit. Like I was out like, you know, living with my girlfriend and my sister. So it was like, they were there, you know, I was like, they knew what I was into, like fucking shit was all over the house. There was spray cans everywhere. There was like, you know, graph pieces on canvas, you know what I mean? The shit out the back had like boards with mad tags all over them. It was like, yeah. There was no hiding.
Dream.
Oh man, the fucking cops just walked in and it was just like, fuck, like we've got this guy. Like, yeah. And they just went through all my shit and I was like, I was actually more freaked out because they wanted to take like seize the computer and take the computer. And they were just like, you know, we're gonna take this shit and like go through it. Like they'll send it off to the like the e-crimes people that like go through all that shit forensically and stuff.
Yeah,
I was just like, fuck, this is. And I managed to talk them out of it. I'm like, look, fucking. Can I like at least keep the computer? You know what I mean? Like you've got everything. Like
what more do you want?
Yeah, yeah. Like they'd already looked through and found like all the folders with all the fucking graffiti in it and shit. Like because I didn't like have them like super hidden or anything. It was just
why
like
would you hide it?
It was just like a folder on the desktop, not on the desktop, but like a folder in the computer. It was like I wasn't like hiding this shit because I don't know.
You don't
because I was dumb.
Oh no, look, no one expects it.
Yeah,
like you never would have expected it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like all that would have come as the biggest shock.
Yeah, like I was like I knew they were out for me, but I didn't expect to see 4 detectives in the house. You know what I mean? I was like, I expected like, you know, they might raid a fucking spot or, you know, like set up and like catch me or, you know, something like that. I didn't know exactly how hardcore they would investigate the whole thing. Yeah. So yeah, I was just like, fuck. So then and they took me back to the station and they sort of like, you want to talk to a solicitor? And I'm like, fuck yes, I want to talk to a solicitor.
Yeah, facts.
Rang the solicitor and I got the worst legal advice of my life. I rang this dude and he's like, look, if they've raided you, they've got enough evidence to charge you. You might as well fucking give yourself up. I'm just like, fuck.
Was that legal aid?
No, it was like, they have like a list of like solicitors and phone numbers and you just like pick one and fucking call it. So yeah, I call this dude and like, in hindsight, I wondered if like it was literally just all numbers that just diverted back to the cops and they were saying that. I don't know.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me either. But yeah, that was like the worst advice. So anyone that fucking is ever like in trouble with the cops, even if you didn't do anything, no comment is the way to go.
Well, not only that, so many people like end up saying too much and digging themselves a hole.
Yeah, yeah.
Like they end up like admitting to some shit they probably didn't do.
Exactly. Like and this is what really fucked me up was, so the cops come back in after I'd spoken to this lawyer and they're like, all right, so what do you want to do? I'm like, anything involving anyone else, I'm not saying shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll cop to everything that I did. You know what I mean? That was the worst fucking thing I could have done. Because they like came in and they're just like, all right, start interviewing me and like, this your tag, yep, blah, 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 blah. I'm just like, yeah, just copping to everything. How long you been doing it for? You know, I was straight up. I was like, probably got into it like 99, 2000, you know what I mean? It's like 2012, it's, you know, over 10 years, you know what I mean? And they're just like, oh yeah, yep, okay. Like, showing me photos of my shit. They're like, so this is your tag, yep, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yep, copping to everything, copping everything. They're like, yeah. I'm just like, all right, going with it. And I was like, at this point, I'm like, I'm going to fucking jail. Like, there was no two ways about it. And I'm like, and they started trying to pry me about other people. Yeah. So I just started copping fucking charges for other cunts. I was like,
that's what I was going to like.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I was just like, yeah, I'm just pleading guilty to everything. Like, I don't want them fucking kicking in anyone else's doors or nothing. So I just copped to everything. And like, it's the worst fucking thing I could have done. Because what they did was they just like fucking just kept typing charges. Yeah. So after they, you know, they do the interview and they're like, all right, we're going to fucking give you your charges and you'll get a summons and all that sort of shit. I was like, oh, fuck, all right. And then they took my phone as well. And I kept trying to get my phone back off them. And they're like, they sort of like held it out like, you know, all right, if you fucking start giving us other people's names, we'll give you your phone back. No. So I don't want a phone back that bad. Like, fuck, like, you know, like I'll go to jail for my boys before I fucking, you know, get my phone back. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't think like jail's any joke or anything, but like, I'll fucking cop that before I'll fucking, yeah.
Well, for you, that was your family. So
exactly.
Like,
it was literally like
the
dudes I was fucking closest to. I'm like, there's no fucking way. So yeah, I just, and the fucking, I can't remember the guy's name, senior constable, someone, but he's like, oh, I'm just going to keep typing charges. And it like fucking went back and forth a couple of times, and each time he just came back and just fucking, literally, this shit was like a phone book by the end of it. It's just like more charges. And I'm just like, I'll fucking have to cop it. So,
and they're not even all yours, but it's too late now.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just like, because I've just like said in the interview, like fucking, yep, that's all me. So, and then, oh man, then like went to go and get like another solicitor, and
which is just like, you're like, fuck. Yeah. You're like, I needed this guy a long time ago.
Yeah, yeah. So I you know, I got my court appearance and stuff. So I went and spoke to a solicitor, and I was a bit sus on the one that I spoke to the first time. So I'm like, I shouldn't really be fucking, and like I'm looking at these charges now, and I'm just like, these shits are written up like real sloppy and stuff. Like they're just like putting these on just to, you know, put the weight on me. Yeah. I'm like, fuck this. So I went and got another solicitor, and man, this dude just fucked me around. The legal system is so fucked. Because I'm on legal aid, this dude's just like running up the fucking tab, you know what I mean? Because it's like the more hours he charges, you know what I mean? The government pays for it. It's not going to fucking matter. You know, I can't fucking afford to pay a lawyer. So I'm just like, you know, just copping charge after charge after charge. And then fucking this lawyer's just like stalling, getting adjournment after adjournment. And fucking, I'm just like, oh, for fuck's sake. And at this stage, like, they didn't even have like photos of the charges. So they were just literally, they could have written anything. They could have like written an address on fucking Mars and fucking submitted it. And because I'd fucking copped to it, it was like,
there was no challenge.
Yeah. So I was like, this is fucked. Like, and like reading through these charges, I'm like, this is all bullshit. So eventually I harassed the shit out of my solicitor to get photos. So the police obviously fucking send photos over as well to match each charge.
Yep.
And I'm looking through these photos, and man, there's tags that aren't even mine, that aren't even shit that I copped to. Yeah. It was just like, they just take a photo of a tag and just throw it in there.
No, they've been lazy now.
Lazy. Man. And like, because they'd taken all the files off my computer, I'd taken photos of like, you know, do like a massive piece with a caro and, you know, and I'd take it, like photograph it from this angle and that angle and like way back out and like close-ups. And each single one of these would be the same piece, and there was like 5 charges for the same fucking piece. I'm just like, you can't fucking do that.
Yeah, that's just one.
I know. And like, I'm saying this to the fucking solicitor, and the solicitor's just like, oh yeah, we'll sort it out. We'll sort it out. Meanwhile, he's just fucking running up the tab. Spoke to me brother-in-law about this, and he's like, this is bullshit, man. Like, and he's a lawyer himself. He's studied law and stuff. But he works in like a different sort of field.
Yeah, like
you know
there's
what I mean?
different, like there's criminal law, there's civil law. Blah, blah, blah,
Yeah. Like he works more like in the financial sector and stuff, but he's just like, man, this is bullshit. Like this lawyer, he's like, man, I'll hook you up with a decent lawyer and we'll sort this out. So then I had to go to my parents and say, look, I'm broke. Like I'm going to go to jail unless we fight this.
Yeah.
And my parents are like, all right, we'll pay for you to get another lawyer. So get a barrister this time. So barristers are a bit more like senior, but they also charge a lot more.
But then that's what you need. Like as you were saying,
Yeah.
if you find yourself in those situations and you get legal aid, you're fucked. Like you're just better off doing that shit
man.
yourself, or like you
For
do
sure.
whatever it takes
Yeah.
just to get a barrister, a lawyer, or someone that's just actually taking like someone who you're not just another number to.
Exactly. Like you've really got to like jump in and take control of your own case. Otherwise, you're going to be fucked. That's like number one piece of advice to anyone that's going to fucking court is like study up on like what you're being charged with and all that sort of shit, and make sure you got good representation, like the best that you can possibly fucking get. Which is kind of fucked because then what that means is people with more money fucking get away with more. You know what I mean?
But
Like,
look at how the world works.
it's so fucked up. It's like the inequality is really fucked up. It's like if you've got no money, you'd go to jail. Like, it's so unfair. It's absolute bullshit.
Wait, so you got the big barrister, then what happened?
Yeah, so the barrister was like, nah, we're going all out on this. We're getting a psych report. We're going to go through and like look at all these charges. And my brother-in-law, shout out to him, he's like stayed back late after work and we went through every single fucking charge and like collated it, put it all in a spreadsheet, was like, this charge is bullshit because of this reason and blah, blah, blah. Numbered them from 1 to, I think it was 260 charges I had. We went through every single fucking one, like photo by photo, detail by detail, and spent ages like collating all this. And he was just like, no, we're putting this all in a spreadsheet. And then like essentially what we're doing is doing all the case preparation and then we're giving it to the barrister to present to the court.
Yep.
So that's what we did. And we went through and like fought it all and eventually got it dropped down to, so I ended up pleading guilty to 80-something charges.
Just a casual 80 charge.
Just a nice even 80. But it looked really good in court because you're sitting there in court and the solicitor's going through the charges and going, all right, cross this one out, cross this one out, cross this one out. And by the time you've gone through 200, even the magistrate doesn't want to be there anymore. You know what I mean? He's just like, why are we here fucking crossing out charge after charge after charge?
Because it's other people's bullshit.
Exactly. Well, technically it's my own fault. I shouldn't have fucking copped to it in the fucking interview, but yeah. So yeah, it cost a lot of fucking money and a lot of effort, but they ended up with a corrections order, so I couldn't leave the state for like, I can't remember how long it was, like 12 months or something.
Yep.
And had to do the max number of community hours and all that sort of shit. But man, it cost a lot of money in legal fees, but I didn't go to jail, which I thought was a good thing at the time because it would have meant I could have kept studying. I was doing graphic design. I could have finished my second year and shit. But man, the amount of time going back and forth to court ended up fucking me either way.
Yeah.
I was like, I used to joke around with some friends. I'm like, fuck it, I should have just like copped to all of it, done the jail time, just like hopefully been out in 3 months and then fucking, you know, deferred the uni for 12 months and then go back and do it after it was all finished.
But you know, just as well as anyone, like that 3 month, like where you disappear, it's not like, it's not always the best.
No, that's it. Like not like fucking jail's no joke. Like I'm not in a fucking rush to go there, but like the way it fucked my life at the same time, it was like I was fucked either way kind of thing. So I don't know. It's always easy to say, oh, I should have done that, like in hindsight, but I don't know. It was fucked.
Fuck. I knew it was bad, but I didn't think like 200 and odd charges, and I didn't. And like, I'm not surprised that they stacked it on like that.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing. It was the first case of its kind in Ballarat.
Yeah.
So they really wanted to make an example out of me. Like, when the cops like dropped me back after they interviewed me and everything, the guy's like, he told me straight up, he's like, we're going to be talking to the media. If I was you, I'd keep your head down and fucking stay out of it and just let it blow over. I was just like, fuck, well, you know, it was like they weren't doing it for, you know, the good of the community or anything like that. It was literally just to show the community. And I can see where they're coming from. They're just trying to show the community they're on top of shit, which is like, as the cops, that's kind of their job. Like, I probably should feel more animosity towards them than I do, but I'm kind of like...
But no, but for the way they treated you, I understand.
Yeah.
Like, it's just... Like, in that whole like, they knew what they were doing just like you knew what you were doing.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, if, like, you both met each other on the same level, like, it could have been squashed, it could have been dealt with so much easier.
Yeah.
Because of all that extra, it's just like...
Oh, man, for sure. Like, it's weird, too, to think, like, because I was, like, 28 or 29 when this happened. And compared to, like, being in trouble with the cops, like, when I was, like, 16, 17, 18, like that burglary time I was telling you about when I broke into the high school, those cops kicked the fuck out of me, you know, like, and that was...
Because they know they can't do anything, so it's like, let's give them something to remember.
You know, like, they knew that, like, I'd probably go to court, first time offender, I'd probably get off, you know what I mean, like, warning, that sort of thing, which is essentially what happened. Like, I went there and I got, like, I didn't even get... I think the lawyer fought so that I didn't get a criminal record because it was the first offence. Yeah. So I got a diversion in the first offence, which is good because it meant I could still travel overseas and all that sort of stuff. And then, like, I got charged with a possession charge like a few years later. It was just like some minor bullshit. But that first time, like getting done for the burglary and getting bashed by the cops was like... That had ingrained in my head what the cops are like. And it was like, all this gangster rap that I was listening to, man, it was just like, fuck the police. I was just like, man, fuck those cunts. Like, just like...
Man, I don't even, like... and it's such a sensitive one. But that was not uncommon for Ballarat. I saw them do it to my friends, like... Yeah. To the point they broke a leg. Yeah. Everyone was there. Everyone witnessed it. There was footage of it and everything. Word. And it still didn't mean shit. Yeah. And you're just like, what the fuck?
Oh, it's so fucked, man. Like, yeah. Like, even, like, growing up, like, my uncle and auntie got into a scrap with the fucking cops. And the cops, like, fucking nearly broke her finger. And they kicked the fuck out of my uncle. And, like, they really fucked him up. Like, and it was, like, literal, like, physical fucking, like, signs on their body of what had happened. And it was just, like, just accepted it. Like,
it was like, do something.
Yeah. It was, like... Fucking what? Like, yeah. But yeah, by the time I got to like the last, like getting raided for the graph shit, they were so chill, man. It was just like, fuck, they were joking around with me as they're raiding the house going, fuck, some of your stuff's like pretty cool, man. Like, oh, man. It's just like, it was almost worse. I was like, I almost prefer to get the fucking shit kicked out of me. But to be sitting there and telling me that my work's dope while you're fucking arresting me for it was just like, fuck, that hurt. Oh, it was just like, they were just literally like going through the motions. They knew that they had to fucking do this. Like I don't even think they cared that much. They were like, fuck, your work's dope. Like, they literally said to me, like, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the tagging. Yeah. I was like, fuck. At that moment, I was like, fuck, I should have just done pieces. Yeah. I would have been sweet. But yeah. Nah, wanted to be a fame whore and get my name up everywhere, and that's what fucking did me over.
But like, shit, you live and you learn. Yeah. And then like you reap what you sow, so it's just like, oh well. But then that's quite interesting though. We're only here for the tagging. Yeah. And you could have been there for the pieces. Like, I was telling you about it before. My little brother asked me this question. Yeah. He's like, what's the difference between vandalism and a street artist?
Man, it's so... They're the same. They can be the fucking same, I think. Like, there's art to a tag. Like, a lot of people don't want to hear that, but, man, tagging's hard to do well. Like, you can't just like rock up and fucking
Scribble your signature.
Like if I see somebody who's tagged for the first time and somebody who's been doing it for 10 years, you can fucking tell the difference. Like, I don't know if everyone else can or if it's just like my mind's trained that way now, but there's such fucking art to thinking. Like I was saying, like even like those words that I used to write, like Mr. Toad and Frimar and stuff, it was like, you think about the shapes of those letters and how they sit next to each other and how you can like flex them and bend them to like fit around each other and shit. And it's like, you start thinking about like inst and that sort of stuff. Like inst is such a perfect word. Like an I sits like within a block sort of thing. An N does, an S does, you know, and you can flex out an S like at the bottom to get the T to sit next to it. Like, yeah.
It's an art.
Yeah, I'm such a fucking nerd about this shit.
No, but then like, that stuff's great. Like that stuff's great. And to be honest, that's probably the realest answer I've ever heard. Like I work, as you know, like where I work, and so we've got like departments where they spend their time trying to do that stuff.
Yeah.
And they try and tell youth that the only difference is permission. Yeah. And you're just like, that's so far from the truth.
Yeah.
So far from the truth.
Man, I've seen street art done fucking poorly and I've seen tags done amazing. Like, it's not as fucking black and white as permission, not permission. Like, because Banksy is a fucking prime example. Banksy do something fucking illegal and people just because it's the name Banksy, just like, oh fuck, put plexiglass over that shit. This shit's art. You know what I mean? And they're just literally thinking about it's money. You know what I mean? But if you see something done amazing on the street, it doesn't fucking matter if it's illegal or not. All that matters is the fucking reaction that you get when you see it. You know what I mean? Like,
that's so important. Say that one more time. Let that sink in for everyone. Say that one more time.
Literally, it's all about the reaction you have when you see it. Like, it's got nothing to do with whether it's legal or illegal. Because you can do a fucking sick rooftop piece and people will walk past and go, fuck, that's amazing. How the fuck did they do something that good in that fucking place? You know what I mean? You could see like a whack fucking, you know, piece of street art and you just walk past and go, that looks trash. Like, it's got nothing to do with permission or not. People are just like, people are attracted to what they're attracted to. Like, yeah. And I know there's a fucking, you know, there's contradiction just in me saying that because what I think looks amazing, other people will go, that looks shit, and vice versa. Like, you know, I go to the fucking, you know, Mona and shit, and you look at fucking, like, art pieces, like, in galleries, so to speak, and I'll look at that and go, that's fucking whack, that's cool, you know what I mean? Somebody else could walk in behind me and think the opposite, so, yeah.
But as you said, all about the individual's interpretation.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter what you label you give it, if that individual, and then, it just runs so deep.
Oh,
because then depending on how much of an influential individual you are, is what's going to determine whether that's legal or illegal.
For sure.
Like Banksy's pieces don't get covered with plexiglass because a random walks past and thinks that looks cool.
No.
It's like, no, somebody with a mind
goes,
a little bit of money.
Yeah.
It's like,
for sure. 100%. It's like, Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I look at some of Banksy's stuff and go, that's trash. I look at some of his stuff and think that's fucking cool. Like, it's all in the eye of the beholder. But, yeah, permission's like, when you're talking about, like, street art and graffiti specifically, permission's almost like, I don't want to, like, encourage people to go out and, like, fucking bomb shit illegally, but at the same time, I did.
Yeah. But then at the same time, you learn from what you did.
Yeah. But, like, it's not as black and white as just having permission or not having permission. Like, yeah, some people, like, I've done stuff illegally that I've found out the owners later on have thought that was cool and not painted over it because they really fucking liked it. They were grateful that someone came and illegally in the middle of the night painted on the fucking back of their building. You know what I mean?
Win-win for the business.
Yeah.
I don't have to pay for the paint.
Yeah.
I don't have to think about the idea.
For sure. Mind you, like on the flip side of that, I've done pieces that I thought were the fucking best thing I'd ever painted, and the next day they got painted over too. So not everyone appreciates it. So yeah, but yeah, it's nowhere near as black and white as illegal versus legal. Like, nah.
To be honest, that's probably the best answer as well.
Oh, jeez.
Because it's almost like everybody wants you to stay on one side of the fence or one side or the
for
other.
sure.
But in reality, it's not the truth.
Well, yeah. Like even within graffiti, like there's people that will say, "Oh, you do legals now, like you're not real," blah 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 blah. It's like I don't give a shit. Like I do what I do because I enjoy it. It's always been the way.
Yeah.
Like if I enjoy painting legally, I'll paint legally. You know what I mean? Like if I still enjoyed painting illegally like I used to, then maybe I would fucking still do it. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's not that fucking black and white.
No.
And I don't want to dictate like what somebody else should fucking do with their life either.
Yeah.
Like you do whatever makes you happy, man. Like
You really do.
for sure.
And then and like, because we struggle with that as well, because we get people to do legals.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
there's a crew in Geelong that go around hitting like legal walls.
Yeah.
And you're just like, cool. But when your 280 charges catch up with you, keep that same energy. It's literally, it's like,
For sure.
keep that same energy.
For sure.
And I guarantee you that changes in a heartbeat.
Oh, for sure.
Changes in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Facts.
But fuck. Oh.
Yeah. Oh, it's a weird world, man. Yeah. My thing is always just like, do what makes you happy and don't shit on other people. Like that's pretty much like if I could boil it down to like one sort of I'd just like
because at the end of the day, as long as you're happy, what else really matters?
Yeah.
And
exactly.
like we had this conversation earlier, like there are so many people doing things that they're unhappy about doing.
Yeah.
And it's, in my eyes, that's the whole point of this.
Yeah.
I actually consider people like you fortunate because you're doing something that you truly love.
Yeah.
And that is what everybody on this earth actually strives for.
Yeah.
And you're like, everybody's got the same opportunity to do so.
Yeah.
We just know that there are things that are keeping them locked in place that continue to spin them through this horrible cycle that they will never get themselves out of.
For sure.
But that's them, not us.
Yeah.
It's them, not us.
Yeah.
So what's next for Cax?
Good question. I want to start making more money. That's like, I'm thinking more like this in terms of just like financially. Like I'm getting a bit older. I want to be a bit more financially secure.
Yep.
But at the same time, I still want to always keep that art like ticking over. I still want to keep doing what I'm enjoying. So, yeah, that'll continue. I want to have another exhibition sometime soon.
Mate, as soon as you have that exhibition, send me the date.
Oh, for
I'll
sure.
pull up with Liam and we'll film that and we'll do a little snippet for it. Like,
that'd be dope.
Doesn't matter where it is. Like, you made the effort to come here, we'll come to you.
Oh, word. Cheers,
We'll come to you.
Appreciate it.
And not only that, your shit,
Yeah.
I've been saying it forever. I'm like, I haven't seen anyone else come close.
Oh, cheers, man. I
Like,
appreciate it.
And there are a few individuals, like, rest in peace, Bide.
Word.
A few people know who we're talking about.
Yeah.
But
fucking legend, that kid.
And man, I went to school with him and he just didn't get the respect he deserved. Because like I went to a school where if you weren't a footballer, you weren't shit.
Yeah.
And me and him had this little, because I skated, so I'd see him around like, and he like he knew, like he just like we both knew, so we both had this like mutual little agreement, and we were just like, he was one of the homies.
For sure.
He was one of the homies.
Yeah, legend of a kid.
And like just
gone too soon.
Really,
He's like that energy, like fuck, you can't match it. Like, and the energy that he brought to a fucking room, you don't fucking find that from many people. You know what I mean? Like,
you don't.
You know, he was, you know, a big fucking presence in the room and like, you know, just like a fucking intriguing character. And I was like, it takes all types to fucking make up a community, you know what I mean? And I kind of felt like people were shitting on that because like he didn't fit the mold. And when I hear that sort of thing, it takes me back to the same beef that we used to have with guys that played football. It was like there was a mold that you had to fit into, and if you didn't fit that mold, then you were fucking cast aside. And it's important to fucking remember that those people, just because you're not that, you still got to be able to accept that, you know, these people are, you know what I mean? And respect like what they bring to the table. You know, like
regardless of whether or not it's different from what you think someone needs to bring to the table.
Yeah, like fucking respect like what that person is and who that person is. Yeah, and I miss that dude a lot. Like,
he like when me and him used to share stories.
Yeah,
I'd look at him sometimes and I'd be like, he was so much like you. It wasn't even funny. Like,
oh fuck,
made some of those same mistakes.
Oh man,
and like some of those same mistakes, but at the same time, achieved so much in such a small amount of time.
Oh, for sure.
And I just know that there are going to be people that are watching this, and they'll work out who I'm talking about, and they still will look at him and be like, he didn't do that, and I'll be like, you don't like. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't.
That was, man, funny story about him. The first time I went painting with him, he literally turned up with a torch and a fucking boombox. I shit you not. And I'm like, he come from Melbourne, you know what I mean, where shit's a bit louder and it's a bit more raucous. Like, man, the way we paint here, you got to be stealth as fuck. Like, we're not bringing torches. We're not bringing fucking boomboxes. Like,
we're not trying to draw attention to ourselves.
Exactly. Like, fucking, I was like, but it was like, I recognised that was me at that age too. Like, granted, I was a fair bit older than him, but I still sort of recognised that. And I kind of, I don't know, I missed that sort of, I sort of had this like, how do I explain it? Like this idea of like when he was around, intrigued to where he was going to.
Yeah.
Because it was like I knew that I did that and I knew that I went in this direction and I was always intrigued to see what his direction was going to be. It was a real shame that he was gone because, yeah, to see where he would be now and to see where he was going, you know what I mean? It was like, I don't know, the story was not fucking over.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
But it was the art of not giving a fuck. He could have achieved so much. Because at the end of the day, he didn't give a fuck.
Oh, for sure.
And that's like, that was why he bought a torch. That was why he bought a boombox.
Because he was like, he was just, you know, he was in his zone. Like, you know what I mean? It didn't matter what the fuck anyone else thought. He was like, he was being bought. Like, yeah. And he was always that same fucking energy. And it's a real shame that he's fucking gone. A real shame.
But then at the same time, it doesn't matter who your mates are. Even though if like you got that mate that's got that real loud energy, we all fucking struggle.
Yeah.
And if your mate's got that real loud energy, he's probably the mate you need to check up on.
For sure.
Like that's probably the mate you need to check up on. Otherwise, you'll sit here and you'll have a conversation about your mate just like we are right now as well.
For sure.
Doesn't matter how strong someone's energy is, always check in.
That's one thing, probably the number one thing I've learnt from that. Like, if you have a subtle feeling that something's not right, don't fucking leave it. Don't think I'll check up on him later. Don't think that, you know, it's going to be, you're going to be putting him out or, you know, like anything like that.
That you're embarrassing maybe for some mental health issues.
Absolutely.
It's like, no, it's not the case anymore.
The last conversation I had with him, like the night before he took his own life, fucking, that last conversation was like, it was something completely like a non-issue. Like it wasn't anything important. But I just got this vibe that the energy was off that night. I can't fucking pick it. Like, and as soon as I got the call to say that, like, what had happened, I knew before, like, when I saw who was calling me, I knew what had happened before I even answered the phone. I was like, fuck. Like, it was the tiniest little feeling, like a nothing feeling. You know, you have a million of these feelings and you're just like, I'll check up on that, you know.
But this one sticks.
Yeah, like because of, you know, there's a punctuation mark at the end of that now, because even though it was just like a tiny little feeling, just like an inkling that like, fuck, I don't know if everything's okay with him. Like, and I was like, you know, he's got people that he's closer to than me. Like, he'll fucking talk to them, or you know what I mean. Like,
sometimes that's not always the case.
Nah,
and like that's the danger in those assumptions. Like we just think, and then not only that, we rely on them for being our strong friend.
Yeah.
That we don't think that sometimes our strong friend is the one that needs help.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if you're the strong friend or the weak friend. We all need fucking help.
Facts.
It doesn't matter when it is. We all need help sometimes.
What's that strong friend? Royce the 5'9".
Royce the 5'9". Man, when I heard that song, that was the realest shit I ever heard.
Yeah.
And it came at a time for me, like, when it was just so relevant.
Yeah. Yeah.
When it was just so relevant.
Yeah.
And it's
check up on your strong friend.
Always check up on your strong friend.
Yeah.
And then, you know what, like, never be afraid to either, like, because if we never check in, who's going to check in?
Yeah.
And we all put that person on such a pedestal.
Yeah.
And then when push comes to shove, no one checks in because we all thought the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's too late.
Word.
So it's like that's one thing that I've learned from those situations. Now I don't give a fuck. Like if I think something's up, like I will push you.
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, what's up?
Word.
And since I've started doing that, the things that I've noticed, the conversations I've started having, it's fucked.
Word. It's like, like we were saying before, like I was not fully aware of the shit that was going on with you, like back then. Like, and it's having these conversations now, you just sort of like realise, like, fuck, like there was a lot more below the surface that you didn't fucking realise. And like it's fucked to think, like the number of people I know that have taken their own life is really fucked. I used to fucking write it occasionally. When I was tagging, I used to write these fucking messages that, you know, if I felt something at the time, I'd write it on the wall, literally. And I used to write, "This city kills its young." Like, and I heard that from somewhere else. And like, sometimes I'd think about like the number of people I knew that had taken their own lives in Ballarat. It seemed fucked. Like,
it's because there were too many.
It was crazy. Like, and literally people are feeling this like all over the fucking planet. You know what I mean? And we're seeing it like, thankfully we're talking about it more, and you see it with like, you know, celebrities are doing it too. It's like literally anyone is at risk of this. Like, it's so fucking important to have those fucking conversations with people. Like, yeah.
And then like, it just is. And it's like, but like, I don't know. It's like, how does society change that? Like, we've put this negative connotation on it all where it's like, nah, if you talk to your mate, like, that's just not a cool thing to do.
Nah.
It's like, what do you mean? Like, that conversation with the mate can mean that mate will be there tomorrow. Yeah. And in your mate's head, he wasn't thinking about tomorrow. No. He was saying goodbye, and you're just like, why? Like, what? Yeah. You're just like, what? And like, no, I'll never ever let a friend tell me goodbye again without me. Like, I'll never let a friend tell me goodbye again without me questioning his goodbye. Yeah. Well, what do you mean? Like, I'll see you tomorrow. Yeah. Like, call me tomorrow. Yeah. And then you defer from that. I'm like, all right, now I'm here for the night. Like, what are we doing? Yeah. Yeah. And then, like, I'm like you, learned it the hard way. Fuck yeah. Learned that the hard way. Yeah. Like, I had a conversation with another friend who, like, I won't mention his name or anything, but we had a conversation a little while ago, and it was like, man, I had no idea that he was going through all this shit. Like, and I had that feeling, and I didn't ignore it this time. I'm like, nah, I'm going to fucking talk to this dude. And shout out to him, he was taking care of himself, like, and like making steps to fucking like get a handle on that shit. But yeah, there's like, I don't know, I'd much prefer to be the annoying friend now that fucking harasses you and fucking wants to know what's up than be the friend that fucking is doing a eulogy or fucking, you know, painting your casket, or, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be that fucking mate. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like you. I'd much rather be that annoying friend. Yeah. If that's what it means, it's like, fuck. Yeah. I'd much rather be that annoying friend than carrying you with 5 of our brothers. Yeah. Like, no. Fuck that shit. No. Yeah. But fuck, it's life. Check up on your strong friend. Word. Don't give a fuck what anyone says. Check in.
Facts.
Always check in. Always check in. So what? We got the art exhibition next. Is there any other dope shit that's happening in Cax's way?
Yeah, I've got a... when's this coming out?
This will probably... So this is week 5, and we plan to go live in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So probably 7 weeks away.
All right. Yeah, I've got a piece that's going to be in Ballarat. It's going to be an augmented reality piece.
Yeah.
I'm not painting this. This one's like I'm giving the design to a signwriter, and the signwriter's putting it up.
Yeah.
But that's part of like City of Ballarat's doing this thing. So.
Well, keep me in the loop of that. When that shit happens, let me know. Send me the
For
photos,
sure.
and I'll
For
fucking
sure.
attach it to absolutely everything that
For
we're doing as
sure.
well.
Nah, definitely, man, definitely. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one because it's like, you know, pushing me a little bit. So I've never done augmented reality before, so it's going to be fun.
Break that down. What is augmented reality? As soon as you said that at the start, it went over the top of my head. I was like, yeah, I know what that is. No, I don't know what that is.
Literally, you just look at it, you know, use an app and just look at the camera of your phone and it'll just like put an animation over the top of whatever you're looking at. So, yeah, it's all live in camera. So,
That's rad.
that should be cool. Yeah, so there's me and like I think 4 or 5 other artists doing it like all over Ballarat. Yeah. So yeah, there's that coming up. What else I got on? Just more painting. Yeah, more murals, more fucking
Never stop,
everything.
brother. Never stop. Never stop. Because literally, man, like you're one of those people that I follow that I've been following forever. And when I see a new project, when I see a new piece, I'm just like, fuck yeah. I think it's because I've got that connection with you as well. But then it's just, it's so sick to see.
Oh, cheers,
it's so
man.
sick to see. And I see so many people that think they have a dream and they give up on their dream. And I'm like, you're a man that hasn't given up on your dream.
Oh, cheers, man. Yeah. Yeah. I'd like to say it was like hard work and determination, but it's just like me just wanting to do that and like being, I don't know what the word is, like, I don't want to do anything else. Yeah.
But then you know what it is?
Yeah, sorry.
No, we say that's not hard work and determination.
Yeah.
But you know, like, you know what's not, like, you know what's hard work? Committing to something everybody's telling you not to do.
True.
So it's like that is the root
it's a fine line between being stupid and being determined, but fuck it, I'll take it.
If it makes you happy, bro, like take it and run with it.
For sure.
Take it and run with it.
If anything, like the more I think about it, actually, I think you were going to ask this. I think we discussed this earlier about like advice I'd give to my younger self.
I'll ask it to you right now.
All right. For sure.
Because I wasn't sure. Because I was like, you sort of answered it a few times and like, fuck, we took it deep. And I was like, after that, I was like, shit. I think I need a drink. I think you need a drink. The fuck.
Oh man.
Cax.
Advice to my younger self.
Yeah. Oh no. What's one thing that you wish you were told as a youth?
I think it's work hard, like really work hard. Like I look back at the time when I was like really deep in the graph thing and it was like staying up all night going out painting and then spending all day like going to uni and doing graphic design. And I found like it was hard to juggle those two things. But now I'm like, I feel like I'm not working anywhere near as hard as I need to be now. Like, if anything, I'm thinking more I need to double down and work even harder and really fucking go after it because I feel like I don't work enough. Like, I'm trying to do, like, juggle, like relationship and fucking being healthy and trying to eat right and lose weight. You know, like, all that sort of stuff as well as, like, do my work and, like, each day that passes, I just never feel like I've worked hard enough. And I feel like when I had that energy naturally, I should have really fucking maximised on it then. Like, I should have worked way harder in my teens, 20s, early 30s. Like, I really should have, like, really gone hard at it. It's like, I'm the other side of 35 now, and I'm like, fuck, I need to work even harder. You know what I mean? Because it's like, if I knew where this was going back then and I'd worked hard, like even though I could never have foreseen what was going to happen, if I'd worked even harder back then, like now things would be way better for me. And it's like now I'm playing catch up. So, yeah.
That's real too.
Yeah.
Because then like, you don't anticipate it. Like I tell Liam this all the time as well. I'm like, right now, we got nothing else to do.
Yep. Yep.
So this is when we should be doing the most.
Oh, for sure.
Because we don't want to be on the other side of 35 and have all this shit in the way.
Yeah.
And we're like, fuck, I can't do what I really want to do now.
Facts. Yeah.
Like, and like, we would never know that though unless... That was real. I think, you know, it's weird. That even really helped me, you saying that. Because I was thinking about it and I'm like, I'm pulling the trigger. I'm going all the way in.
Sure.
I've got to.
Yeah.
And if I don't do it now...
Yeah.
I'll be regretting that later on in my life, and that's not what I want to happen.
And look after yourself, actually. You got to balance that with work hard and look after yourself, which is something that I didn't do enough of. Like
look after yourself how?
Literally everything. Like get enough sleep, eat healthy. Fuck. I sound like such an old man now.
No, but like, shit, you say this. Yeah. You know just as well as anyone. Half of us are lost souls trying to find guidance.
Yeah.
And there's sometimes no one to give us the guidance. So fuck, if there's an older soul that can give us the guidance, give it to us. I already know what you're going to say. Mind, body, spirit. But I know what that means. What does that mean?
That literally means look after yourself and fucking work hard and do something that you enjoy or that gives you pleasure because you're working towards something. And take care of yourself as well. And that doesn't just mean like eating healthy and exercising and all that sort of shit. That can mean like go out and have a beer with a mate. Like, you know, you need that like social interaction as well. You know what I mean? Like I did mad drugs when I was young. Like, I would maybe do less, not completely cut it out, but I think I would have done less of that sort of stuff when I was younger.
Well, there's a social element to it as well.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Like, you know, inebriation's like something that we've done for fucking millennia. You know what I mean? Like, whatever your vice is, you know, at the same time, master your high too. Like, don't take it to the excess. Don't fucking, like, completely ruin your life and, like, cut yourself off from everybody either. Like,
that's that bitch called moderation.
Yeah, for sure.
And there's a reason she's a bitch. There's a reason.
Oh, man. Yeah. What? She's elusive, yeah.
She is.
But anything that's worth doing is usually hard to do. So, fuck yeah.
Cax, thank you.
Cheers, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
If there's some things you've taught us, if you're going to take the risk, make sure you do a fucking good job of it.
For sure.
Check up on your strong friend.
For sure.
Doesn't matter how strong you think they are.
Definitely.
Work hard. But keep a good, positive balance.
For sure. Balance is everything. Yeah.
Cax, tell them where they can find you. How does someone, if I want to find your exhibition, I want to find out what you do, I just want to look at your beautiful art, where do I go?
Google me. Sounds like the wild arsehole shit. CAXONE, Cax One. You can find me on Instagram. Instagram's probably where I'm popping at the moment.
We'll have your tag there to pop up on your chest.
For sure, yeah.
Right under his carrot. Right under his carrot.
For sure, yeah. Look me up and, yeah, chuck us a follow. Send me a DM and say that this is where you caught me. That'd be dope. Yeah, I'd love to talk shit with people and, yeah, always down for a conversation. So, yeah, get at me.
Man, you're a man that I think will be coming back soon.
I hope so, man.
Wait,
fuck yeah. Cheers, brother.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate you.
Man,
I appreciate
it's been dope.
You. Man, like, I'm just stoked that you could come down.
For sure.
And as I said, you're a weird individual in my life. Like, whenever I see you, shit's either going that way or it's going that way. And I fucking hope it's going this way.
For sure, man. Man. Yeah, I'll be fucking devastated if the shit's going downhill from here.
Nah, I've been at that bottom once. It's not happening again.
Oh,
fuck
sure,
that.
Man.
It's not in this lifetime. It's not happening again. No.
Oh, word, man.
But Liam, you know what time it is. Jack, you know what time it is. Wrap that shit up.
For sure. Cheers, brother.
Thank you, bro.
Fuck yeah.